You've been running on empty for so long that empty has started to feel like normal. If your body feels permanently on edge, this isn't your personality. It's a survival response that got stuck. And it feels so normal that most people don't even realize it's happening. The tight chest when you wake up before you've even had a reason to be stressed. The way you scan a room the second you walk in. The exhaustion that sleep somehow never fixes. That's not who you are. That's not just modern life. That's your nervous system stuck in a loop it doesn't know how to exit. Today, I want to show you how to recognize it and how to start reversing it. Because if your nervous system has mistaken survival for normal, it changes how you sleep, love, think, and even who you believe you are. Your nervous system has one core job: keep you alive. And it's incredibly good at it. Too good, actually. Because back when the threats facing humans were immediate and physical, this system made perfect sense. Danger appears. Your body floods with stress hormones. You fight or run. Danger passes. Body resets. Clean cycle. But here's where it falls apart in the modern world. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a physical threat and an emotional one. It cannot distinguish between a predator and a passive-aggressive message from your coworker. To that ancient part of your brain, it's all coded the same way. Danger, react, survive. And maybe you've felt this before without realizing it. Sitting in complete silence in your own house while your body feels as if something important is about to happen. And here's why this matters for you personally. You end up in this bizarre situation where your body is running full emergency protocols over things like inbox notifications and social plans changing last minute. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tighten, your breathing goes shallow, and your brain narrows its focus to pure threat management. That's survival mode. And the terrifying thing about it is that the longer you stay there, the more it starts to just feel normal. Decades of stress research show something surprising. When animals experienced the same number of stressful events but couldn't predict when they were coming, they developed far more stress-related health issues than those who could anticipate what was next. The stressor wasn't even worse. It was the unpredictability itself that caused damage. Sound familiar? Because that's basically a description of modern existence. Constant low-grade uncertainty. Phone screens lighting up dark rooms. Unanswered messages waiting in the background of your mind. Reactions in the body ready to ignite. Your nervous system standing guard every single second. And this is where people get it wrong. They think the solution is mental. Think more positively. Reframe your perspective. Practice gratitude. And look, none of those things are useless, but they're addressing the wrong layer. Because when your nervous system is running survival protocols, your rational thinking brain is essentially benched. The older, faster, more primitive regions of your brain are running the show. And those parts are not interested in your affirmations. They are only interested in getting you through the next 60 seconds alive. So trying to think your way out of a dysregulated nervous system is like trying to fix a car engine by decorating the dashboard. It might feel productive. It changes nothing underneath. What actually happened to most of us is this. Somewhere along the way, through difficult relationships, through years of high-stress environments, through experiences that were genuinely scary, or sometimes just through the slow accumulation of stress that never got properly released, our nervous system made a decision. It decided that staying alert was the safest strategy, and it committed to that decision so thoroughly that it forgot how to come back down. And what happens when survival stops feeling like a state and starts feeling like who you are? This isn't a character flaw. This isn't weakness. Your nervous system learned this pattern because at some point it worked. It kept you functional when things were genuinely hard. The problem is, it never got the memo that the hard part ended. So the alarm is still blaring, even though the emergency is long over. Think for a moment about the last time your body felt completely unguarded, not distracted, not entertained, not scrolling, just unguarded, and just you. Can you remember it? And living like that has real costs. Your digestion suffers because your body doesn't prioritize metabolizing food when it thinks you're in danger. Your sleep becomes fragmented because your system resists the vulnerability of full rest. Your relationships feel harder because a nervous system scanning for threat will find threat even in the people who love you. You start reading into distance where there isn't any. Neutral faces can feel like disappointment. Silence can feel loaded. Your creativity disappears because creative thinking requires a felt sense of safety that survival mode does not allow. This is why, when you finally take a vacation and spend the first 3 days feeling weirdly more anxious instead of relaxed, your nervous system is slowly, skeptically, checking to see if it's actually okay to lower the guard. And just when it starts to believe you, you fly home and boom, you're right back to baseline hypervigilance within 48 hours. But here's the genuinely hopeful part, and really, hear this. Your nervous system is not broken, it is not defective, it is adaptable. The same capacity that allowed it to learn danger can teach it safety again. The neuroplasticity that wired in the anxiety can rewire in the calm. But you have to practice in the right language. Your nervous system doesn't speak in thoughts, it speaks in sensation. Breath, movement, temperature, touch, rhythm. These are the inputs it actually responds to. And when you understand that, the tools stop feeling like coping mechanisms and start feeling like direct communication with your own biology. Take your breath, for example. When you're in survival mode, your exhales shorten. Breathing gets clipped and tight. But when you deliberately extend your exhale past the length of your inhale, you activate the vagus nerve, the part of you responsible for rest and recovery. You are not just breathing differently. You are sending a biological signal that says, the threat has passed. We can calm down now, if you want. Try this right now. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Do it 3 times. Notice what changes, even slightly. That shift is your nervous system responding. Movement matters for the same reason. Animals in the wild, after escaping danger, will literally shake their bodies. That shaking discharges the stored stress energy. Humans have mostly stopped doing that. We hold it in our muscles and wonder why we're chronically tense. Intentionally shaking out tension, doing a few minutes of unstructured movement, these aren't quirky wellness trends. They're your body completing a stress cycle it never got to finish. Predictability also matters more than people realize. Your nervous system genuinely relaxes when it knows what's coming next. A consistent morning routine, a reliable sleep schedule, a physical environment that feels ordered and calm. These aren't boring habits. They are safety signals your nervous system receives and responds to. And then there's what's called your window of tolerance. Think of it as the bandwidth your nervous system has for handling stress without going into full survival response. Right now, for a lot of people, that window is very narrow. The goal isn't to eliminate stress from your life. The goal is to gradually widen that window through intentional experiences that teach your system it can stay present without shutting down. Sometimes that can come through challenge, cold exposure, breath work, hard physical exercise, difficult conversations that you actually stay present for instead of avoiding. Done progressively and with awareness, these can build resilience the same way progressive weight training builds physical strength. But widening your window isn't only about learning how to hold discomfort. It's also about learning how to hold more joy, more beauty, more life. Staying with a sunset a little longer instead of immediately reaching for your phone. Letting yourself laugh and noticing the warmth moving through your body for just another moment. Sitting with someone you love and allowing yourself to actually feel the ease of being there. Because for many people, the nervous system doesn't only struggle with pain. Sometimes it struggles with receiving the goodness too. And part of healing can be increasing your capacity for both. The last piece, and this one is probably the most counterintuitive, is to stop fighting the hypervigilance. Your anxiety, your hyper-awareness, the part of you that never fully relaxes, That part has been working non-stop to keep you safe. It deserves acknowledgement, not criticism. When you start working with it instead of against it, when you recognize the alarm and gently respond rather than panic or suppressing it, that's when the system starts to trust that it doesn't have to run at maximum capacity anymore. And maybe healing leads to remembering who you are beneath all that adaptation. So, what will you feel more of? What are you looking for? The sleep that restores you, the meals that digest without discomfort, the conversations where you're actually present, the creativity that comes back, the joy that stops feeling like a distant memory and starts feeling available again. And maybe the most underrated benefit, you become a regulated presence for the people around you. Calm is genuinely contagious at a neurological level. Your steadiness can become a resource for others. If something in this conversation landed for you, drop a word in the comments below. Just one word that describes how your nervous system has been feeling. Wired, exhausted, trapped, numb. Whatever is true. Naming it is not small. Naming something is often the moment you stop living entirely inside it and begin observing it. And observation is where change starts. There is a way out of survival mode. Your system already knows the path. Maybe peace isn't something you create. Maybe it's something that was already there beneath all the noise. We're just helping to remember it. If you'd like to continue exploring this together, you'll find guided practices and additional resources below. Take care, and see you in the next video.